Hello and welcome to Penelope's Chinwag. It's about crafting, family stories, a little film about nature, and so if that's your bag, please join me. I'm going to take you over to my garden just as a kick-off, just to show you some plants. And then there's a little film of my friends. They've been to stay this week. We've had such a super time, real laugh. We've had a good belly laugh, which has been fantastic. It's been needed and a bit too hot to sit in the garden. Sometimes we did in the evenings, but mostly we've just rested, sat in the conservatory and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. And I said to Jan, have you got any stories you could say? Because they've been married 60 years this year and they knew each other 4 years before that. So their relationship has been going 64 years. You have seen Jan previously, and Jan and Bob clean windows. I think he started around after he'd retired, from work. Thoroughly enjoys it. Jan joined him, and every Monday morning they do their windows, and well, they have no intention of stopping, let's put it like that. In fact, they cleaned my car for me. Had to take it for MOT, and Bob said, oh, come on, let's take it spotlessly clean because it'll probably pass then. So they went out no more and cleaned the car. They're a great couple, but they're going to tell you a couple of little stories that's happened to them over the years. And then I tell you a story about Pete when he was 4. So we'll go straight over there now.
That's it. So it's been quite an adventure, isn't it?
It has.
Yeah.
Do you remember when
Your mum?
she'd been to Australia and she brought Phil back a boomerang? He was really thrilled with it, couldn't wait to use it, so we thought we can't use it in the back garden, can we? So we thought, right, we'll go down to the local common.
And it went great,
Yep.
except when it came back.
Where did it hit Claire? Right in the middle of her glasses. And her glasses broke and they just went down like that.
So your boomerang did come back.
I can say my boomerang did come back, didn't it? Oh, poor Claire.
So we
Phil
had
felt
to get
awful. We were all
new
laughing.
glasses again, didn't we?
New
And
glasses.
so tell me about your mum being in Australia.
Well, my sister was out there.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
went to
She's
visit.
Still out there, isn't
She's
she?
still out there, Penny.
Whereabouts?
Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Yeah, been up there 30 odd years now, must
Have you
be.
ever visited?
No,
No.
too far for us, Bob, isn't it? Yeah. Remember that one about when we got the bike, Bob?
Well, the tandem actually, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, I saw this sort of tandem in this old boy's shop that needed doing up, so I bought it, took it to pieces and got the frame sandblasted and powder coated. It came up beautiful, doesn't it?
Lovely blue, isn't it?
We had the idea of cycling to Holland.
Holland.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, we went, put panniers on the back, put the tent on,
Yeah.
all the camping gear and food, didn't we?
Got the ferry across to Ostend, then straight up to Holland.
And then we had to cycle home.
Well, of course.
Well, 40 years later, for our 40th wedding anniversary,
Yeah.
we thought, oh, let's go back to Holland. We went to Kuhnikoff to see the tulip fields.
That's it, yeah.
And we're on the coach, and I said to Bob, did we really do this? Did we really do this?
Listen to my story, Bob and Jan.
Yeah.
Okie doke. The Wilderness, 1949. Not long after the war, in the quiet green edges of Epping Forest near Buckhurst Hill, there was a magical place called the Wilderness. It was more than just a patch of woodland. It was also the name of a house tucked among the trees, home to a remarkable couple, Walter Spradbury and his wife Dorothy Dorsey. Walter was an artist well known for his beautiful London Transport posters that celebrated the countryside. Dorothy was just as extraordinary. She had a real musical career. She sang in the very first proms under Sir Henry Wood, no less, and was one of the very first women to sing on the wireless, back when the BBC was still at Savoy Hill. Her voice was so strong, the early radio engineers reportedly didn't know what to do with it. But instead of chasing fame, Dorothy chose to create something wonderful at home. During the war, she founded the Wilderness Opera Group, turning their garden into a woodland theatre. Walter painted the scenery. Dorothy conducted a 50-piece orchestra. The whole house would be filled with singers and musicians, neighbours helping with costumes, and a sense of shared purpose. It was a dreamlike escape in a time of air raids and ration books, a true act of hope and joy. After the war, in 1949, a performance was being prepared, and a cousin of Peter's, 20 years his senior, asked if he might take part. Peter was just 4 years old then, the baby of the family, conceived during a brief leave in 1944. Peter was cast as a cherub in a Purcell opera. He was given a little costume, complete with a bow and arrow. But there was a slight problem. Pete, come on in and read that to Jan and Bob. Now, my friend, who I went to school with, in Tottenham. I mean, we left when we were 11, and she's tracked this down because your mum gave it to you, didn't she? But we lost it
somewhere. Well, it's around somewhere.
That's it.
Up
Yeah,
in the loft, probably.
Yeah, but up in the loft. Is that where things are that you can't find?
Well, they've got to be. In the loft.
Yeah, in the loft. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Where's Penny? In the loft.
So, Daily Express, this is London, 11th of July 1949,
Yeah.
and Lynn sent it to us. It's so kind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Peter, age 4, was the youngest of 6 children who danced and sang yesterday in the Wilderness Opera Group's revival of Venus and Adonis, composed for the Royal Court by John Blow, Purcell's teacher, born 300 years ago. Dorothy Dorsey, ably produced and conducted in a garden at Buckhurst Hill on the edge of Epping Forest. This was fresh, charming, open-air entertainment. Tell us about what you remember. You were 4.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot, but what I do remember is when we had these bows and arrows. A bow and arrow, I should say.
Yeah.
And I had it in front of me, but the arrow kept pointing at me, and all I can remember is being worried. I'm trying to get this arrow to face in the right direction, and it just wouldn't. As I went round, it came back again, and I was dancing away, and thinking, oh no, it's got to be right, it's got to be right. Well, that's all I can remember. The rest is just a blur.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, not even a blur. I just
Yeah, and you know, until we got this, you'd always told that story of the arrow, you know, and you dancing. But until we received this newspaper cutting, and then I looked it up, we didn't realise how famous this woman was. I mean, she was and her husband, they were famous, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And here's Doris, your cousin.
Yeah.
You know, she's your cousin, but you were the baby of the family, so she was 20 years older.
Yeah,
There's Doris being asked, you know, to obviously sing in this. She was taking part. Yeah. But what did your auntie Ada, what did the family think of her opera?
Oh, she'll be late again doing her singing.
Yeah.
And that's all they thought about it. They didn't realise really that
she was with the most famous of people. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. The flowers in the garden this year are absolutely beautiful. All the yellow ones have gone now, and we're into blues and purples. And the meadowsweet around the pond is it's just gorgeous. We've got a lot of butterflies in the garden. A lot of them want to come in the conservatory. It's just very pleasant indeed. Oh, well, so shall we just go over and I'll read you my story. Yes, it's the end of 1966 and at last it's the beginning of 1967 when I meet Pete. I'm going to read you the next part of my story because you're involved. And if you want to put anything in, chip in.
This is more
chip
like
in.
it.
Yeah, more like it. Okie doke. Right, the last sentence of last week's was, and so the year rolled on quietly, 1966, and then wait for it, December the 31st arrived, and that was the red letter day of the year. In fact, it was the red letter day of my life. I've always liked that I met Peter at the start of a new year. It suits me. I like even numbers. It feels fitting. One evening, on my way home from work, I got chatting to a girl who made the same journey every day. We didn't know each other well, but she invited me to a New Year's Eve party, 1966, turning into 1967. It was also her 21st birthday, so a big celebration. Do you remember everyone sang, "She's got the key of the door, never been 21 before"? Anyway, she said her mum and dad had hired a hall near their home in Potter's Bar and encouraged me to come along. I took the address, but didn't plan on going. I barely knew her and thought I'd feel awkward. She said I could bring a boyfriend, but no one sprang to mind. My usual standby, Peter McBride, was busy working in the pub. It was the busiest night of the year, after all. Funnily enough, it was Mum who persuaded me to go. She said I might meet someone new, or at the very least have a nice evening. Dad offered to drop me off, though I can't remember the arrangements for coming home. When I arrived, the usual greetings were exchanged, and I took a seat at one of the tables arranged around the edge of the dance floor, near the hatch where drinks were being served. The squirrel wants to come in again.
I know.
Yeah, off you go.
I just
Yes.
his foot and he's...
Yeah, we don't want them in, do we?
No,
he's
we don't.
sitting there looking at us, wanting.
He's listening.
He's listening, yeah, telling us to go and get some nuts. When I arrived, the usual greetings were exchanged, and I took a seat at one of the tables arranged around the edge of the dance floor, near the hatch where drinks were being served. I sat quietly, doing my best not to look too obviously alone, when a man walked in and greeted Doreen. He was tall, dark, and handsome, and I couldn't take my eyes off him. I found him incredibly attractive and remember watching his every move for a good 10 minutes. He seemed to be on his own, and when he walked over to the bar to get himself a drink, I suddenly sprang up, like a gazelle no less, and made my way over to him. If I don't go over to him now, he'll never notice me, and this chance will be gone forever. And I just knew I couldn't let it happen. And after I said hello, I asked if he'd mind getting me a drink. I explained that I was on my own and didn't feel comfortable going up to the bar by myself. He smiled and said sure, and then asked my name. We started chatting, had a few dances, and later stepped outside for some air. And just like that, Ronettes sang. Do you remember the Ronettes? Yeah. And then he kissed me.
Oh.
Yeah. Disneyland hadn't even been dreamed of yet, but honestly nothing could have topped that moment outside a community hall next to the police station in Potter's Bar. He seemed so open, so natural, and to me, utterly gorgeous. He told me that his mum and dad were moving to Devon the following week, and they were throwing a party for all his friends the very next night. "Would you like to come?" he asked. "I'd love to," I said, barely believing it was real. Then he said, "Where do you live? How are you getting home?" Southgate, I said, and I didn't know how I was getting home. Why not come back and stay at my parents' house tonight? My heart leapt. I didn't want to be apart from him, not now, not after just meeting him. But oh my goodness, I told him I was 19, convinced he'd never go out with someone who was really only barely 17 and a half. What would Mum and Dad say? What if they said no? We walked to a phone box and I called home. Do you remember that night?
Yeah. Do I remember it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what you said, but I remember it. I remember because I remember walking in. I'd gone straight to the bar, as one does if you.
Right.
I knew he'd come up behind me.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I just heard a voice, so I looked over the top because he's only
When
little.
you're 6'1", I'm 5'2". Well, 5'1.5". Oh, you are cheeky.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I remember.
And why did you go to the party? I mean, I was on my own. Ostensibly, you were too, really, weren't you?
Yeah, but I knew a few people.
Oh, you know a few.
Well, I knew quite a few.
But what got you there?
Well, I'd come out on leave from the army.
Oh, you were on leave from the army?
Yeah, because I worked Christmas.
Right.
Which
So you
was
had
the
New Year's
best
off.
time to work
Yeah.
Christmas because nobody's there.
So you decided to go?
Well, I said to Mum, Doreen's asked me to go to her 21st. It's New Year's. I said, I don't know. Oh, God. Mum said, go, you never know, you might find a nice young lady.
I know. So both our mums said it, didn't they?
Yeah, that's the first thing she said, you might find a nice young lady. So I thought, oh, well, why
And did
not?
you?
Well, yeah.
I know.
That's an idea, isn't it?
I know. So straight away, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was straight away. So that's our story. So there we are. It's another part of my story. Thanks for joining me and sending me so many lovely comments about your life too. I thoroughly appreciate them. And crafting, what have I been doing? Well, this week, quite honestly, what have I got on my table? I've got 2 quilts that need to be quilted, you know, the Beatrix Potter ones. But I don't want a quilt on my lap at the moment. And I was going to knit an emotional support chicken, but I have to keep looking at the pattern. I wasn't in the mood for that with my friends round. So, of course, what do? I finish off the knitting that I was doing. Another pair of socks for Pete. These were the ones I knitted him. I think I showed you last time. And they're just right for him because, you know, shorties, beautiful wool. I got from Anne of Spar Knits. Thank you, Anne. And I just didn't think, well, I wouldn't have done enough for 2 pairs. So I had a ball of wool that was similar. So I did the tops in that and the toes in that. I mean, really, you can't, it's all right. You can't see it too much. And he's got 2 pairs of shorties. I took a film to show you where I hung my Quilt As You Go squares. Do you remember? They were on here, but I didn't feel that it showed them off enough. You know, you'd have to unroll them and they're all too long. So I've hung them up now, and I'll show you the little film I took of that to show you where I put them. And so here we are. These are the ones I did when Pete was in hospital, just to keep myself sane. And I've hung them by my window. I think they look really nice there. I can see them. It's the right place for them. Get your washing on the line. These are next to a couple of embroideries.
What?
It's all right, I'm just doing Chinwag.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so that one's there, and you're going down the hall. That one's there. Well, you can see it's there. Silly thing to say. And then I pop them here. Yep, tea in the pot. That's my Chinwag, which is a kit from the Stitchery, Nikki Franklin, my daughter gave me. That's my mum's, and that's a note tucked in there that my dad sent to my mum. I've showed you these before, but you can see them. It's lovely. And the one going further down is about my family. And then I've got the others on the wall, which you've seen before. Well, maybe if you're new, you haven't. My daughter did that when she was 2. How did she know a scribble was going to turn into a woman? And Pete when he was young. And the Holly Hobby I did in the 70s. That's the moment that our daughter Kim told her dad that she was going to have another baby when she was a bridesmaid to her sister. These were hanging in Pete's mum's bedroom always, 2 of them. The frames are chipped, but I really don't mind. There's the 4 of us. And I think that's a counted cross stitch that I did for my mum. Devon Cottage. And Peace by a River. What I want to do is another embroidery. And I was thinking about that. My friend left me a lovely card to say thank you. Now look at that. That would make a lovely embroidery, wouldn't it? So I might just, trace around there and see how I feel. But hairs have been done before. The other thing I fancied doing, I've got it here, was Jeremy Fisher. Now you see Peter Rabbit, don't you? And you see, Mrs. Tiggerwinkle, as I showed you last week. But I've got a book here with Jeremy Fisher. And I think that would make a nice embroidery. I love his legs because I do love frogs. The other thing I could do was to copy this. But to be honest, I saw at the front of the book Hunka Munka, and she's so sweet. So I might think about tracing that off, onto a piece of fabric and sorting some threads out and doing one of these. I don't know yet, haven't made my mind up. But I think embroidery is just right for me at the minute. You don't have to think, I don't want to follow a pattern. So that's what's on my crafting table. So we'll end the episode here with a little film of when Jan, Bob and I, Pete was feeling tired, so he didn't join us. We went for a little stroll, an evening stroll along the sea and back, obviously. So I leave you there, and I hope your weather is fine, whatever part of the world you're in, and I hope you're feeling okay. So if you're a crafter, enjoy your crafting. If not, enjoy your week, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.
last night behind. And I need to get some peace of mind. And when I need some peace of mind, I know where to find it. Is by the end of the road. So I walk and I keep on walking. Though the shoes I wear are a mess. As I walk and I keep on walking till I'm at the end of the road. I walk until my feet are hurting, and I need to keep on going further. 'Cause I can't keep my mind off things I'd be better off to leave behind. Gotta be careful not to get stuck. And so I walk and I keep on walking. Though the shoes I wear